Showtime. Now, for anyone who's actually into my videos, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded one in a while. I've just been busy. Having a life. Well, actually, every time I turn on my PS3 to make a video, I see video games that I could be playing and usually start playing them. No hard feelings. I'm really not sure what I should talk about in this video. Girls, politics, food, life, video games. I could tell jokes. Knock knock, Jakefreakinreed. Who's there, Jakefreakinreed? Interrupting cow. Interrupting moo. Alright, let's not do that. Ooh, let's tell a story. Okay, so I, as a person, fly a lot. Just like I take off and but in all seriousness, I'm on planes a lot. And I was flying by myself to California once, and I have a layover in Atlanta. The biggest and most aggravating airport in the world. And this is my first time flying alone, like alone, not as an unaccompanied minor. So I'm kind of nervous, kind of chillaxed to make myself look cool, but I'm still nervous. And I get to my next gate, like smooth, easy peasy, figure out where it is, and I get there. And I wait for about an hour. And there's this one lady across like the little waiting area, just sitting there on like her iPhone with like this huge like hat. It's like huge and it's got like feathers and like freaking like fuzz and everything a chick could need in a hat. And I'm pretty sure she's not as cool as she thinks she is. Okay, so we wait like an hour or so, waiting for her to get on the plane, and the dude comes on the intercom. Attention passengers, the plane will not be pulling up to this thing, so we need you all to move across the entire frickin' airport to get to a different one because we're stupid and that's where the airplane's going because we hate you all. And just in case you were wondering, we're not doing this because it's convenient, we're doing this because we really do hate every single one of you and we want to make your lives even more complicated. True story. Okay, so I'm pissed and a little bit scared because I don't understand how this all works. So like this mass of people get up and start to move and I follow them. And we get on a few moving sidewalks and we go underground and get on a freaking tram. And on the way I stop at one of the stores and buy some Mike and Ike's, my favorite candy, obviously. To calm myself down or just to get my mind off of things because I'm kind of freaking out a little. God, I love Mike and Ike's. So we get to our gate. And I'm sitting there eating Mike and Ike's, and the chick with the huge hat is like sitting right next to me, like right next to me to where it's uncomfortable because her hat's all up in my face. And I'm eating Mike and Ike's, and you know I don't just like pick out one Mike and Ike at a time. It's like, ah. And she keeps glancing at me like. And I'm kind of ignoring her because she's freaking weird. Okay, so it's been 25 minutes or so. I finished my first box of my Connects and I pull out the second one I bought. Don't judge me. And I start eating it. And she starts looking at me again like I'm weird. And then finally she looks over at me and goes, "Hey, how old are you?" "I'm 14. P.S. This is when I was 14. I'm 17 now. "Really?" "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" "Don't you think you're a little old for Mike and Ike's?" Boom. There it is. My breaking point. I drop everything I'm doing and glare at this crazy ass bitch. I cannot believe she just asked if I was too old for freaking candy. Mike and Ike's of all things. Of all this pent up stress and anger and annoyance and nervousness just blew up into my freaking vocal cords and I looked at her and I said, "Don't you think you're a little old for that hat?" Now I, Jakefreakinreed, normally have great manners and I'm really nice to most anyone I talk to, but no one is freaking too old for candy and that hat was freaking ridiculous. You're gonna look at me, a 14-year-old boy on his own in the freaking airport and ruin his day by asking me if he's too old for freaking candy? In that hat? You might as well have told me that Santa Claus wasn't real. That's like ruining my life. Convincing me that there's an age limit on candy? Okay, So I make this outburst. A few people glance over at us to see what's going on, and she's like, well, and she picks up her crap and moves across the waiting area. What she gets. Okay, so they finally start boarding. I get in line and I'm waiting for them to swipe my boarding pass, and the crazy lady with the big hat is like 2 people behind me. They swipe it and I get on the plane. I'm looking around to find my seat, and I finally find it. I got a window seat. Yes. And I sit down, and I'm just sitting there on my phone telling everybody I'm about to take off, and I'll text them when I'm done. Guess who sits down next to me? This fat dude. And I'm like, okay, this dude's fat. That's pretty cool. Life choices, his choices. And crazy hat lady is walking down the aisle, and she stops right at this fat dude and says, that's my seat. And he pulls out his boarding pass. Oh, well, it is. Well, I apologize. In my mind, I'm thinking, That dude gets up and walks down the freaking plane, and big hat lady takes off her hat and sits down in the seat. Normally, if this had occurred, I would have taken that opportunity to apologize to her for my outburst, because that was extremely rude of me and she did not deserve that. But I used this opportunity to pull out a freaking box of Mike and Ike's and start eating them. And you know what she does? She sighs. Like she knows me. Like I'm breaking the pact I made to her or something. Like we've been through so much together and I've finally been pulled off of this stuff and I've just gone back to eating candy all the time. It's terrible. Or like I give her cancer. So I can honestly say that that flight from Atlanta, Georgia to Los Angeles, California was the quietest flight I have ever been on. We finally land, and I'm there visiting my grandpa. So once we land and the guy's all like, alright, you can use your cell phones now. I call my grandpa and I'm like, hey grandpa, I landed and I'll be there soon, so be ready. And freaking hat lady decides that she has 2 cents and goes, did you tell him how rude you were being? So I look at her like, you heard my conversation. Did I say that? Whatever. I am, at this point, so tired of this freaking woman. We go into the gate, and I get up with all my stuff, and I stand behind her in the line to get off the plane. We get off of the plane, and I'm walking to leave the loading area to get to like the lobby of the airport where my grandpa's waiting for me, and I'm walking like right next to her, and I decided that I shouldn't leave with such a bad note that I said to her on the plane. So I get a little in front of her, and I like glance back at her, and she sees that I'm looking at her. And I put my hand up in my ear, and I look back at her, and right before I turn the corner, I say, take her out. You should have seen the look on her face. Priceless. She totally bought it. It was grand. She like stops and goes, So after I made her shit herself, I decided my mission was complete. And that flight was worth it.